Mayor Pro Tem Vasquez.
Well, I'm prepared to vote on, at least on the two incumbents. And then while I was prepared to do all three, but I'll respect the fact that we did get this late resignation on the third.
Councilmember Winterer.
Well, I've certainly, over the course of the last several months, met with all these people pretty much. I'd be prepared to do all three tonight, but I do have reservations about doing two and not the third in one evening, frankly.
Councilmember Himmelrich.
I would support doing all three tonight, primarily as I look at the dates of the applications. There's only one person on this list that's applied after March of this year. So there's been plenty of time to interview. Most of them applied last year when Mr. Rubin was appointed, so we all had plenty of time to interview all of them. So the only other person is a very long-standing landmarks commissioner. And somebody on the who I know from the Commission on the Status of Women, but other than that, everything is from November and December of last year.
Well, I agree with Councilmembers Winter and Himmelrich that we've waited a long time for these appointments to have a full council. We have certainly had more than enough time. Do you wish the microphone, Councilmember O'Connor? So you're going to leave rather than allow us to vote on the Planning Commission.
We should really try to act, civil here. I mean, this is not the way you conduct business. I mean, come on.
Well,
you don't get your way and you walk out? Yes, I do. You should come back. I mean, we should behave, like elected officials here.
I'm being told that the only way we can... The only way that we're not going to do something different, they're going to vote for all three because we have a full council. Well, if that's the threshold, then
forgive me,
I can help you.
But let's have a civil discussion.
Could we both just hold it until you began acting out? I had the floor, and I'd like to retain the floor for a moment, okay? Because I was simply expressing my opinion, which I have every right to have, that after this long wait to have a full council, and that we should go forward. That the fact that somebody decided not to put his name in at the very last minute doesn't change it to my mind, because people don't own the seats in which they sit. These seats are appointed by the council. The council is elected by the people. Our job, and we know we have it every June, is to appoint people to these boards and commissions. Now, I don't think there's a shortage of applicants here. So I'm not disrespecting your desire not to vote on all three, but I have the right to my opinion, which is the same as that of Council Members Winter and Himmelrich, that we should go ahead with the appointments. So if you wish to, actually, you may not. I'm sorry, you may not, because Councilmember Himmelrich has it next. She is withdrawing her name to allow you to speak.
And when we file for elections, the election code, and we're not doing by the election code here, but it says if the incumbents, if the people who are in the seats, and granted, anybody who's a council member who's running for re-election doesn't own the seat, but it says if an incumbent does not file the nomination papers, then it's held open another week or two. Because that theory is that there are people out there who might have looked at this and said, oh, hey, 3 people are there. They might not be deep in the weeds in the politics of it, and say, this may not be the time for me to apply. But when they find out there is an open seat, somebody might choose to run for it. So that's the theory I am basically using here, and I'm basing it on. So, that... We don't own the seats in August of every year, election year, when we file the papers. It gets held open for folks. So I think there could be other people in the community who might be interested in. It was interesting, too, because what you started all talking to early on, there are questions about was there the proper posting about what seats and what commission seats are open. That's part of that concept too, and I think what of the misunderstanding there might have been is that all the seats are open, but some people may not realize that because they're open, it doesn't mean that they're not competitive still, although the practice typically has been, and I would say that's the case for at least one of the appointments on the Planning Commission, that if somebody has because you need the supermajority for the third, it's different. But typically, if one has been doing a reasonable job and showing up, we reappoint them. That's been the norm. So anyway, that's my basis for it. It's good enough for the election code. I think it should be good enough for us.